Shall we start now?
Sure, sir.
Okay.
Namaste. A very good evening to all our dear students, teachers, and school administrative department. We welcome you all to our Vidya Shakti's science session. My name is Ashwita Malnad. I'll be your science tutor. Dear students, as you all know, in our last class, we had spoke about the matter in our surroundings. Yes. So we understood certain characteristics of matter and different states of matter. And yeah, we have enormous amount of activity. Some of the live examples we saw, as well as some activities through a simulation we were able to understand about different state of matter. So quickly, if I'll have to give you a recap, there are three states of matter, namely solid. I can give you an example of a saucer. This is how it would be, isn't it? Solid, liquid. So if this could be a container and some water filled in here. So this is the liquid. And then the gaseous state. Hopefully you can see here, right? Yes, gaseous state. Maybe if can show you a balloon in which the air has been filled through these dots. ಘನ, ದ್ರವ, ಹಾಗೂ ನೀಲ. Okay, solid, liquid, and gases. So solid, how would that be? In a very disciplined form, you can find this way the matter arrangement. This is how it is in solid. So very less gap in between them. Wherein liquid, so how will a liquid be? Filled with few gaps. So you can find the gaps easily. Wherein gaseous, so how that would be? ಒಂದೊಂದು ಮೂಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? So there is enormous amount of gap. So this is how it would be. And you could also take an example of a piston ಇಂಜೆಕ್ಷನ್ ತೆಗ್ದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿರುವಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಟ್ಯೂಬ್ಸ್ ಗಳಿರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಸೊ ಅದ್ರ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಗ್ಯಾಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ನೀವು ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ಬಹುದು. ಸೊ ಈ ತರವಾಗಿ ವಿ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟುಡ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್. ಓಕೆ, ಅಂಡ್ ವಿ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಲರ್ನ್ ಇಟ್ ಥ್ರೂ ಸಿಮ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ how a matter would be. ಸೊ ಲೆಟ್ ಮೀ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ನಿಯಾನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೆ, ಈ ಸಲ ಆರ್ಗನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಸಾಲಿಡ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದ್ರ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಗ್ಯಾಪ್ ಬಹಳ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮೂವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದು ದ್ರವ ರೂಪ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ವೆನ್ ಐ ಪೋರ್ ಅ ಡ್ರಾಪ್ ಆಫ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಫ್ಲೋ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಇನ್ ಫ್ಲೂಯಿಡ್. ಸೊ ದೇರ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಅ ಮೂವ್ಮೆಂಟ್, ವೆರ್ ಆಸ್ ಗ್ಯಾಸ್ ವುಡ್ ಬಿ ಫ್ರೀಲಿ ಮೂವಿಂಗ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಹೌ ಇಟ್ ವುಡ್ ಬಿ. So now in today's session, we will understand, can this states of matter change from one state to another? Okay, ಈ ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಇಂದ, ಈಗ ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ದ ತ್ರೀ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಸ್? ಸಾಲಿಡ್, ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಗ್ಯಾಸ್. ಸೊ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಒನ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಟು ಅನದರ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಇಟ್ ಚೇಂಜ್? ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಇದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಯಾವ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಮೂಲಕ ನೋಡಬಹುದು? ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸಿ ಇಟ್ ಥ್ರೂ ಅನ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಐಸ್ ಕ್ಯೂಬ್. Let me share my screen. Meanwhile, how are you able to understand, follow the class? Yes? No? Would like to hear your feedback. Okay, let me share my screen. ಎಲ್ಲಾರ್ಗು ನನ್ನ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಓಕೆ, ಏನಿದು? ಐಸ್ ಕ್ಯೂಬ್. ಸೊ ಮನೆಗೆ ರಜೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋದಾಗ, ರೆಫ್ರಿಜರೇಟರ್ ಇದ್ದಾಗ, ಸೊ ಸುಮ್ನೆ ಐಸ್ ಕ್ಯೂಬ್ ನ ನೀರ್ ಹಾಕೊಂಡ್ ಕುಡಿತೀವಿ, ತಣ್ಣಗಿರ್ಬೇಕು ನೀರು ಅಂತ. ಹೌದಾ? ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ? So an ice cube ಇಂದ ಅದು ಹಾಗೆ ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಕರ್ಗಿ ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದನ್ನ ಬಿಸಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಗ್ಯಾಶಿಯಸ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಅನ್ನು ತಲುಪುತ್ತೆ. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ವೆರಿ ಕಾಮನ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ವಿ ಆಲ್ ನೋ. ನೋ ಅಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇವನ್ ದ ಐಸ್ ಕ್ರೀಮ್ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಈಟ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ವೆನ್ ಯು ಕೀಪ್ ಇಟ್ ಔಟ್ಸೈಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ಅ ಲಾಂಗ್ ಟೈಮ್ ವಾಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ಸ್, ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಕರ್ಗಿ ನೀರ್ ಹಾಗೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಹೌದಾ? ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿದ್ಯಾ? ಎಸ್ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್. ಸೊ ಸಾಲಿಡ್ ಟು ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡ್, ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡ್ ಟು ಗ್ಯಾಸ್, ಇಟ್ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ one state to another state. So let us see how and why it changes. Okay. So we all know that water can exist in three states. Neeru more state irutte, as I named, ice cube, and then water, and then gaseous state ali water vapor. What happens inside the matter during this change of state? A question mark idde irtala. What happens to the particles of matter during the change of state? And how does this change of state takes place? ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ನೋಡೋದಾದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ನ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಓಪನ್ ಯುವರ್ ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬುಕ್, ಪೇಜ್ ನಂಬರ್ 6. You have activity 1.1. ಈ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಅರೌಂಡ್ 150 ಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಐಸ್. ಐಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಬೆರಿ ಫ್ಲೇವರಾ, ವೆನಿಲಾ ಫ್ಲೇವರಾ, butterscotcha, pistana? No, the ice cubes. Okay. You'll take 150 gram of a ice cube in a beaker and suspend a laboratory thermometer so that its bulb is in contact with the ice to measure the temperature. So you can refer to your textbook. It would be something like this. Hopefully, I have opened your textbook. ಈ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Okay. An iron stand. And then a thermometer is kept here. In a beaker, you have kept the ice cubes. These are the ice cubes that have been kept in the beaker. You have a burner here. And then a beaker, a glass stirrer. ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಸ್ಟಿರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಗ್ಲಾಸ್ ಸ್ಟಿರರ್ ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. Why not steel? Why not any other metals? Why only glass? That's all required. You have to keep on questioning. Science is all about questioning like this. Then itself you'll find the subject to be very interesting. Why not steel? Stick on to the glass because steel ಅಂದ್ರೆ ರಿಯಾಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. ಕೆಲವೊಂದ್ಸಲ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು chemicals it react in a very bad way. So that's why we stick on to the glass stirrer. Okay. Hopefully you have a laboratory in your school. Yes. Yes, you can go ahead do this experiment with the help of your teachers as well. ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ? When you open your text, you get to know on increasing the temperature of the solid. Solid ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ice cube. When the ice cube is like this, and when I increase the temperature here with the help of the burner, what happens is that due to the increase in the kinetic energy, heard of kinetic energy? ಪ್ರಚನಾ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಅಂತೀವಿ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ. ಹೌದಾ? ಕೈನೆಟಿಕ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ಡ್ ಆಗಿರುವಂತಹ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅದು ರಿಲೀಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, when I take a plate up in the terrace and hold it in my hand and later when I throw it down, ಒಂದು ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ ಅದ್ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಬಿದ್ದು ಡಬಾರ್ ಅನ್ನೋ ಸೌಂಡ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. So that is an example of kinetic energy. Okay, the particles start vibrating with greater speed. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಬೆಂಕಿಯನ್ನ ಹಾಕಿ with the help of the burner, when the temperature increases, this ice cube ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅದು ತುಂಬಾ ವೇಗವಾಗಿ ಕರಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಸೊ ಆಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, the energy supplied by the heat overcomes the force of attraction between the particles and the particle leave their fixed position and start moving freely. So I had explained you solid ಈ ತರ shape ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ನಾನು ಬರ್ನರ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಈ ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ಡ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಡಿಫ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇಟ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಫ್ರೀಲಿ ಮೂವಿಂಗ್. ಸೊ ಫ್ರೀಲಿ ಯಾವ್ದು ಮೂವ್ ಆಗೋದು? ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ? So it starts moving in the liquid as a liquid. Now, a stage is reached when the solid melts and it's converted into a liquid. And the minimum temperature at which a solid melts to become a liquid at atmospheric pressure is called as melting point. If you're having the textbook, please underline this point. Which point? Which point? The minimum temperature. See, since there is scarcity of place, I'm using a short form. Please don't use it in your exams, okay? Or anywhere while you're writing, okay? The minimum temperature at which a solid melts, melts to become a liquid at the atmospheric pressure. Atmospheric pressure is called as melting point. For example, it's an example or an assumption. ಒಂದು ಐಸ್ ಕ್ಯೂಬ್ ಅಥವಾ ಒಂದು ಐಸ್ ಬಾರ್ ನೀವು ಬಿಸಿ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಅದು ನೀರಾಗಿ ಕರಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಕನಿಷ್ಠ 8 ನಿಮಿಷವನ್ನ ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಂತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ 8 ಮಿನಿಟ್ ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಂತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅಟ್ ದ 8th minute ದ ಐಸ್ ಕ್ಯೂಬ್ಸ್ ಮೆಲ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಬೀನ್ ರೀಚ್ಡ್ ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ. ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್? ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟುಡ್? ಎನಿ ಡೌಟ್ಸ್ or confusion? So what do we understand here? The minimum temperature at which solid melts and is converted to liquid, okay, is at the atmospheric pressure. ವಾತಾವರಣದಲ್ಲಿರುವಂತಹ ಒತ್ತಡದಿಂದ ಘನರೂಪದಲ್ಲಿರುವಂತಹ ವಸ್ತುವು ದ್ರವರೂಪಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾರ್ಪಾಡಾಗುವಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಸಂದರ್ಭವನ್ನ ನಾವೇನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ? ಮೆಲ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? So the melting point of a solid is an indication of strength of force of attraction between the particles. Very, very important. The melting point of a solid is indication of, please underline or make a note, it's the indication of strength of the force of attraction. Ma'am, what is this force of attraction? How do we understand it? So we'll understand this in detail in your coming classes regarding force of attraction. But as of now, please understand the melting point of a solid is an indication of the strength of the force of attraction between what? Particles. Okay. The melting point of ice is 273.15 Kelvin. Right? Kelvin. 273.15 Kelvin. The process of melting, that is change of solid state into liquid state, is also known as fusion. See, one particular paragraph which has so many, important points wherein this would be helpful for you if you are having a multiple choice questions. So ಅದಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲ ಇದು ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂಡ್ ಐ ಟೋಲ್ಡ್ ಯು another ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್, ಒಂದು ಐಸ್ ಕ್ಯೂಬ್ ಕರಗುವಂತಹ ಇದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಕೆಲ್ವಿನ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ನಾವು ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕೆಲ್ವಿನ್ ಅಂತ. Kelvin is nothing but it's a unit of temperature measurement in the international system of unit. SI ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೊಂದು, SI ಅಂದ್ರೆ sub inspector ma'am. ಹೌದಾ? Yes, but in science we call it as international system of units. Okay, and we use it by the phrase SI. Okay, and SI ಅಲ್ಲಿ Kelvin is a unit of temperature measurement. It's an absolute temperature scale, meaning it starts as an absolute zero in the start ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, and the theoretical point where molecular motion stops. 1 Kelvin is equal to 1 degree Celsius, but the Kelvin scale is shifted so that absolute 0 Kelvin, whereas it is minus 273.15 degrees Celsius on the Celsius scale. Okay, confused ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? See, This is not there in your syllabus, but I want my students to understand the basic of science. So ಕೆಲ್ವಿನ್ ಅಂದಾಗ ಸೆಲ್ಸಿಯಸ್ ಅಂದಾಗ ಏನು ಅಂತ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನೋಂಗಿರ್ಬಾರ್ದು, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಯು ಮೂವಿಂಗ್ ಫಾರ್ವರ್ಡ್ ಟು ದ 10th ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ 1 ಕೆಲ್ವಿನ್ is equal to 1 degree Celsius. Okay, but the Kelvin scale ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಶಿಫ್ಟ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ 0 ಕೆಲ್ವಿನ್ is equal to minus 273.15 degree Celsius. Celsius scale ಅಲ್ಲಿ. So 0 Kelvin represent absolute zero, the lowest possible temperature theoretically attainable at this point. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಿ 0 ಇರುವಂತಹ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್. ಮತ್ತೆ ಸೆಲ್ಸಿಯಸ್ಗೂ ಕೆಲ್ವಿನ್ಗೂ ಏನ್ ಮೇಡಮ್ ರಿಲೇಶನ್ಶಿಪ್, ನಾವ್ ಯಾವಾಗ ಅದನ್ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅನ್ನೋದಾದ್ರೆ, ದ ಕೆಲ್ವಿನ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಸೆಲ್ಸಿಯಸ್ ಸ್ಕೇಲ್ ಏನಿರುತ್ತಲ್ವಾ, ಅದು ಸೇಮ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಸೈಜೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ 1 ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಕೆಲ್ವಿನ್ಗೆ 1 ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಸೆಲ್ಸಿಯಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಆದ್ರೆ 0 ಬಂದಾಗ ಮಾತ್ರ ಈ ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಸ್ ನಾವು ಕಾಣ್ಬೋದು. ಅಥವಾ ದಿಸ್ ಒನ್ ಐ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ರೈಟ್ ಇಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ವೇ ಆಲ್ಸೋ. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಓಕೆ ಚಿಲ್ಡ್ರನ್, ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ 0 ಕೆಲ್ವಿನ್. ಓಕೆ, 0 degree Celsius is equal to 273.15 Kelvin. Understand ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ, or you're getting confused? See, 1 Kelvin is equal to 1 degree Celsius, no doubt about it. But 0 Kelvin ಬಂದಾಗ there is a difference in scale, so that we put it as minus 273.15 degree Celsius. ಆದ್ರೆ if it is other way, switch ಆದಾಗ, ಓಕೆ, ಸೆಲ್ಸಿಯಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಕೆಲ್ವಿನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಿಚ್ ಆದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, 0 ಸೆಲ್ಸಿಯಸ್ ಬಂದಾಗ ಕೆಲ್ವಿನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅದು 273.15 ಕೆಲ್ವಿನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Though it is not there in your syllabus, I want you all to know this basic about the Kelvin and the Celsius scale. Clear? To convert the Celsius to Kelvin, you add 273.15 to the Celsius temperature. ಓಕೆ, ಈಗ ನಾನು 100 ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಸೆಲ್ಸಿಯಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಏನು, ಕೆಲ್ವಿನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅದು 100 ಪ್ಲಸ್ 273.15 will give you 373.15 Kelvin. Okay, so to convert Celsius to Kelvin, you have to add 273.15 to the Celsius temperature, because 0 degree Celsius is equal to 273.15 Kelvin. Clear? And the use in the science, ನಾವ್ ಹೇಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಕೆಲ್ವಿನ್ ಇಸ್ ಪ್ರಿಫರ್ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಸ್ಕೇಲ್ ಇನ್ ಸೈಂಟಿಫಿಕ್ ಕಾಂಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಲೈಕ್ ಥರ್ಮೋಡೈನಾಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಇದೆ, ಫಿಸಿಕಲ್ ಕೆಮಿಸ್ಟ್ರೀಸ್ ಅಂತ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಇನ್ ಯೋರ್ ಲೇಟರ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಲರ್ನಿಂಗ್. ಈಗ ಕಲರ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಲೈಟ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಬೇಕಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇದನ್ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಕೆಲ್ವಿನ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಹಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿನ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳೋದಾದ್ರೆ, ದಿಸ್ ಕೆಲ್ವಿನ್ ಸ್ಕೇಲ್ ಇಸ್ ನೇಮ್ಡ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಲಾರ್ಡ್ ಕೆಲ್ವಿನ್ ಅಂತ ಒಬ್ರು ಸೈಂಟಿಸ್ಟ್ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಈಸ್ ಅ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷ್ ಫಿಸಿಸಿಸ್ಟ್ who made significant contribution to thermodynamics. ಆ ಒಂದು ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇಕಾದಷ್ಟು ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಷನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಅವರು ಭೌತಶಾಸ್ತ್ರಜ್ಞ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷ್ ದೇಶದ ಭೌತಶಾಸ್ತ್ರಜ್ಞ, ಅವ್ರ ಹೆಸರು ಬಂದು ಲಾರ್ಡ್ ಕೆಲ್ವಿನ್ ಅಂತ. ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಅವ್ರ ಹೆಸರು ಬಂದು ವಿಲಿಯಂ ಥಾಮ್ಸನ್ ಅಂತ. ಹಿಸ್ ನೇಮ್ ಇಸ್ ವಿಲಿಯಂ ಥಾಮ್ಸನ್, ಬಟ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಸೈಂಟಿಫಿಕ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ he's being called as Lord Kelvin. In respect of that, the Kelvin scale was named after Lord Kelvin. Okay, and it has a symbol K. This was a very brief history about Kelvin. You have much more to learn about these kind of things. In case if you're interested, we'll have a separate session upon the scientists and upon various degrees. ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಬಂತು, ಈಗ ಗೆಲ್ವನ್ಸೋಮೀಟರ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ದ ಸೈಂಟಿಸ್ಟ್ ಗೆಲ್ವನ್ಸೋ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಉಲ್ಟಾ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. So we'll have different session on them, but as of now we'll understand at this point. Okay, so the melting point of ice, how much is it? Oh, ma'am, we forgot. The melting point of ice is nothing but 273.15 Kelvin. Okay. And the process of melting, that is changing of solid state into liquid state, is also known as what? What is it known as? Fusion. Okay. And when a solid melts its temperature, ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಈಗ ಐಸ್ ಕ್ಯೂಬ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ನ ಕೊಡ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಲೆಟ್ ಮಿ ಶೇರ್ ಮೈ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಸೊ ದಟ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಗಿ ಅದು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಐಸ್ ಕ್ಯೂಬ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ನ ಕೊಟ್ಟೆ. ಈ ಐಸ್ ಕ್ಯೂಬ್ ನ ನಾನು ಬಿಸಿ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಅದು ಅದರ ಒಂದು ಶಾಖ ತಾಗಿ ಆ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಇಂದ ಅದು ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡ್ ಆಗಿ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. ಬಟ್ ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡ್ ಬಿಸಿ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತಾ? ಇಲ್ಲ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್, ತಣ್ಣಗೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಅದ್ರ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಆ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಏನಾಯ್ತು ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಇನ್ ದ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ವೈಲ್ ಮೆಲ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ದ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಡಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಚೇಂಜ್. ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿಯಾದಂತಹ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ಮೆಲ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ರೀಚ್ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಐಸ್ ಮೆಲ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ದಿಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ಸ್ ಇವನ್ ದೋ ವಿ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಟು ಹೀಟ್ ದ ಬೀಕರ್, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ವಿ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಟು ಸಪ್ಲೈ ದ ಹೀಟ್. But the heat gets used in changing the state by overcoming the forces of attraction between the particles. As this heat energy is absorbed by ice without showing any rise in temperature, it is considered that there is an hidden into the contents of the beaker and is known as latent heat. So ಈ ಒಂದು ಹೀಟ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಬಚ್ಚಿಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರುತ್ತೆ. ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ ಇಟ್ ಆಸ್ ಲ್ಯಾಟೆಂಟ್ ಹೀಟ್. ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಐಸ್ ಕ್ಯೂಬ್ಗೆ ಹೀಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಹಾಕಿದಾಗ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಏನು ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಆ ಒಂದು ಐಸ್ ಕ್ಯೂಬ್ ಕರ್ಗಿ ನೀರಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಹೀಗಿರ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಒಂದು ಹೀಟ್ ಹಾಕಿದಾಗ ಅದು ಹಿಡನ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಬೀಕರಲ್ಲಿ, ಅಂಡ್ ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ ಇಟ್ ಆಸ್ ಲೇಟೆಂಟ್ ಹೀಟ್. ದ ವರ್ಡ್ ಲೇಟೆಂಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಹಿಡನ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. The amount of heat energy that is required to change 1 kg of a solid into a liquid at atmospheric pressure at its melting point is known as latent heat of fusion. So having said that, you must also understand what does the fusion mean. Fusion andre eno? Change of solid state into liquid state is called as fusion. ಈಗ 1 kg ice cube or whatever solids converted into liquid ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅದೇನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ as the melting point is known as the latent heat of the fusion. So particles in water 0 degree Celsius, 0 degree Celsius ಅಂದ್ರೆ 273 Kelvin ಆಯ್ತಾ, have more energy as compared to the particles in ice at the same temperature. And when we supply heat energy to water, particles start moving even faster. This one I can show it to you with the example of a simulation. Hope all of you can see my screen. Let me take an example of water. It's solid state ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೀಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಐಸ್ ಕ್ಯೂಬ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೀಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ನಾನಿಲ್ಲಿ ಹೀಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ you can see the molecules here are freely moving. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಸಾಲಿಡ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಇಂದ ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಗೆ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಆಯ್ತು, ಅಂಡ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಸಿ ದ ರೇಸ್ ಇನ್ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಹಿಯರ್, isn't it? ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ರೇಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಿರೋದು ಸಹ ನೀವು ನೋಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯವಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಫುಲ್ ರೇಸ್ ಆದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ ಸಾಲಿಡ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಟು ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡ್, ಫ್ರಮ್ ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡ್ ಇಟ್ ವುಡ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಟು ದ ಗ್ಯಾಸಿಯಸ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್. ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಸೊ ಈ ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ಲಿ ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಗೆ ಈ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಓಡಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯವಾಗುತ್ತೆ. So what are we trying to explain from this simulation ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, when we supply heat energy to water, particles start moving even faster. At a certain temperature, a point is reached when the particles have enough energy to break free from the forces of attraction to each other. At this temperature, the liquid starts changing into the gas. And the temperature at which a liquid starts boiling at the atmospheric pressure is known as boiling point. Melting point ಅಂದ್ರೆ when the solids change its matter to liquid, it becomes the melting point. Boiling point ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ when the liquid start boiling at the atmospheric pressure, we call it as boiling point. ಈಗ ನೀವು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ನೆನಪಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ, ಒಂದು ಪಾತ್ರೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನೀರ್ನ ಇಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅದನ್ನ ಗ್ಯಾಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ರೆ ಆ ಗ್ಯಾಸ್ ಇಂದ ನೀರ್ ಕುದ್ದು 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 ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಆವಿಯಾಗಿ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ಆಯುರ್ವೇದಿಕ್ ಮೆಡಿಸಿನ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಈಗ ನೋಡಿ, ಯಾರಿಗಾದ್ರೂ ಕೆಮ್ಮಿದೆ, ನೆಗಡಿ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಒಂದಿಷ್ಟು ನೀರಿಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಲವಂಗ, ಕಲ್ ಸಕ್ಕರೆ ಇದನ್ನ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ, ಈಗ 1 ಲೀಟರ್ ನೀರನ್ನ ನಾನು ತೆಕ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಅದು 1/2 ಲೀಟರ್ ಆಗೋವರೆಗೂ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಕುದಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. ಗ್ಯಾಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಇಟ್ಟು ಕುದಿಸಿ 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 ಅದು 1/2 ಲೀಟರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ 1/2 ಲೀಟರ್ ನೀರ್ ಏನಾಯ್ತದು, ಮ್ಯಾಜಿಕ್ ಆಯ್ತಾ, ಮಾಯ ಆಗೋಯ್ತಾ? ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಅದು ಬಾಯ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕುದ್ದು 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 ಅದರ ಒಂದು ವಾಲ್ಯೂಮ್ ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದು ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ that one we call it as boiling point. And boiling is a bulk phenomenon. Particles from the bulk of the liquid gain enough energy to change into the vapor state. ಅಂಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ವಾಟರ್ ದಿಸ್ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ನಾವು ಒಂದು ನೀರನ್ನ ಬಾಯ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ತಲುಪಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಎಷ್ಟು ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಸೆಲ್ಸಿಯಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ? ವಿ ಆಲ್ ನೋ ದಿಸ್ ಥಿಂಗ್. ಇನ್ ವಿಚ್ ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಸೆಲ್ಸಿಯಸ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ? 100 ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಸೆಲ್ಸಿಯಸ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಸೊ ನಾನು ಆಗ್ಲೇ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೆ? 0 ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಸೆಲ್ಸಿಯಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು 273.15 Kelvin. Let us ignore the 0.5 and let us consider 273 Kelvin. ಆಯ್ತಾ? 1.15 ನ will just leave it for now. Okay. So 273 Kelvin. ಈಗ 100 ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಸೆಲ್ಸಿಯಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ 273, 100 ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಸೆಲ್ಸಿಯಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಲೆಟ್ ಮಿ ಸ್ಪ್ಲಿಟ್ ಇಟ್. 0 ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಸೆಲ್ಸಿಯಸ್ plus 100 degree Celsius gives you 100 degree Celsius, or else I can write it as 273 Kelvin plus 100 gives you 373 Kelvin. ಹೌದಾ? So 100 degree Celsius is equal to 273 Kelvin plus 100, which is 373 Kelvin. Clear? So now the latent heat of vaporization ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? Particles in the steam, that is water vapor, at 373 Kelvin, under 100 degrees Celsius, under 100 degrees Celsius, ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, it changes the temperature. This is because the particles in the steam have absorbed extra energy in the form of latent heat of vaporization. I repeat, this is because the particle in the steam have absorbed the extra energy in the form of latent heat of vaporization. So latent heat ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಹಿಡನ್ ಆಗಿರುವಂತಹ heat. Latent means hidden. So ಆಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? You can easily say solid. ಇದನ್ನ ನಾನು heat ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ it turns to be as liquid. And if I would heat this liquid also, it becomes gaseous. ಹೌದಾ? Is this clear? Solid, if I heat, it turns into be liquid. Liquid, if I heat, it turns to be as gaseous. ಈಗ ಉಲ್ಟಾ. Gaseous, if I would make it cool, cold ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದೇನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ. ಅಂಡ್ ಈ ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾನು ಕೂಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದೇನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ಸಾಲಿಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಗ್ಲಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ವಾಟರ್, ಇಫ್ ಐ ಕೀಪ್ ಇಟ್ ಇನ್ ಫ್ರೀಸರ್, ವಾಟ್ it happens? It becomes solid. ಅಲ್ವಾ? So we infer that the state of matter can be changed into another state by changing the temperature. Very, very important point. So state of matter can be changed. Please note down, very important point. State of matter can be changed into another state by changing the temperature. Okay. State of matter can be changed into another state by changing the temperature. Clear? And we should also understand that we have learned that the substances around us change the state from solid to liquid and from liquid to gas on application of heat. But there are few exceptions for this. Some change directly from solid state to gaseous state and vice versa. So any clue ಏನ್ exceptions ಗಳಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ? Okay, if you can see the image here, ಏನಿದು? ನಶೆಗುಳಿಗಳು ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಇಲ್ಲ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್. These are camphors and we use it greatly for divine purpose. ಕರ್ಪೂರ ಇವುಗಳು. ಕರ್ಪೂರವನ್ನ ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ? ಪೂಜೆ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಹೌದಾ? ಸೊ ಈ ಕರ್ಪೂರವನ್ನ ನೀವು ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ರೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಅದು ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡ್ ಆಗಿ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಕರ್ಪೂರ ಯಾವತ್ತೂ ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡ್ ಆಗಿರೋದನ್ನ ನೀವು ನೋಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅದು ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಗ್ಯಾಸಿಯಸ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ a solid, without changing its temperature, by changing its temperature, it changes the matter directly to gaseous state. and it skips the liquid state. Okay, you can try this experiment with the help of your teachers in the school laboratory also, but you have to be very careful. Okay, because ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬೆಂಕಿ ತಗ್ಲತ್ತಲ್ವಾ, ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಹುಷಾರಾಗಿ ಇರ್ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ಇದೆ, ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ಇನ್ 1.13. ಲೆಟ್ ಮಿ ಕ್ವಿಕ್ಲಿ read it for you and I would request you to kindly perform this activity by the next time of our class. Take some camphor, crush it and put it in a china dish. China dish ಯಾಕೆ? Plastic ಯಾಕಿಲ್ಲ? Because of its good conductor of heat. Okay. Put an inverted funnel over the china dish. Put a cotton plug on the stem of the funnel as shown in the figure. You can find it in your textbook page number 8. Okay. And then you can see when the heat is being exposed over there, it slowly changes from the solid state to the camphor vapor state. ಆ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಬದಲಾಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ಸ್ಥೂಲವಾಗಿ ಇನ್ ಡೆಪ್ತ್ ಲೆಟ್ us learn in our next class. Until then, let us meet in our next class. Keep yourself healthy and stay happy. All of you have a good day. Bye. Jai Hind, Jai Karnataka Mate, Jai Vidya Shakti. Namaskara.
Happy evening, all my dear students.
Shall we start?
Yes, sir. So, one second, will you please check my board? Is it visible or not?
Yes, ma'am. Your board is visible, but a little bit left side is crossed, ma'am.
Left side.
So justify your board.
Can
Yes.
you change the camera position a little? You can tilt it, or you can pull in the board, ma'am, so that it can be clearly seen.
Okay. Is it visible now, sir? Now I can't change. Sir, is it
Ma'am,
okay
that
now?
board position can be changed. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಎಳಿಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. You have to little pull the board, ma'am, towards the other side, towards your left side.
Okay. Is it clear, ma'am?
Yeah, better, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Thank you, ma'am. So,
Thank you.
shall I start, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Happy evening, all my dear students. I hope you are all doing great. I'm doing good too. So, before taking the class, I would like to tell you a short motivational quote, a very small one. So, yes, here you go. Life and time are the world's best teachers. Life teaches us the use of time, and time teaches us the value of life. So, in the whole world, there are two best teachers. What is that? First one is life, and the other one is time. So, they both don't speak, but they teach through experience, right? So, like our teachers, they won't interact with you, they won't speak with you, but they teach you through the experience. So, life teaches us the use of time wisely. For example, as we grow older, we realize how much important time management is, especially when we lose opportunities due to delays. Okay, once you lose your opportunity, you feel regret, right? So, never feel regret. How can you not feel regret when you utilize your time properly? Got it? So, time, on the other hand, teaches us the value of life, especially when we see how fast time passes, how short life can be, and how important it is to make it the most. So, these two are the greatest teachers in our life. So, utilize your time properly. And as we are discussing about the time, we shall see what are the benefits of effective time management. So, if you manage the time well, what kind of benefits do we get? First one is experiencing more in less time. So, when you manage time well, you can experience a lot in the less time. And then achieving more goals. So, being human, we might have many goals, aims to get achieved, right? So, you can achieve all the goals if you manage time properly. Less energy on meaningless activities. So spend your energy only on useful activities, no, but not meaningless activities. What kind of activities are considered here as meaningless? Like passing time doing nothing is meaningless. If you do nothing, just sitting idle, what happens? Time flews fastly and you do nothing, it's waste of time, right? And also thinking about something which is useless, which is not worthful, so do not give damn about it. So try to utilize your precious time, valuable time, which is worthful. Okay, next, more focus on priorities. So you're studying ninth class now. So you get promoted to 10th class. So what you want to choose, either BPC or MPC or CEC, MEC, whichever aim you have. So focus on it and give priority to that first. Okay, so next one is whatever the weaker subjects, focus it more, spend time on it more. Okay, next, less procrastination. So, what is the meaning of procrastination here? Which means delaying your tasks, daily tasks, your routine work. So if you do delay, what happens? The work gets delayed. So due to that, what happens? You regret it later. For example, if you have exam tomorrow, instead of studying, you waste time with your friends cracking jokes or wasting time in a silly manner. What happens? You fail in the exam. Later on, you regret, isn't it? So try to utilize it properly without wasting your time. And next, more systems and routines. So once you get habituated to one particular work, and if you make it in a consistent manner, definitely you will achieve and get successful. Increased productivity. Now, what is the meaning of productivity here? Doing a lot of work in limited time, or using or utilizing resources, less resources, and getting more results. That is called productivity. Using less resources and getting more results is called productivity. And next, more balance. So when you manage the time well, you can balance it very well. Okay, so less stress. Of course, if you're having exam in the next weekend, if you start preparing right from the day one, what happens? You can cover the syllabus within the time, slowly, day by day, consistently. No need to worry. In the last moment, you can just revise it. That's it. Instead of learning the concepts again. So from the beginning onwards, you can just revise it. So you can have less stress instead of having it more, right? So next one, more efficiency. Efficiency and productivity have similar meanings. So what is efficiency? Getting good results with less resources, using time in a productive way. Okay, next, doors open to new opportunities. So there are n number of opportunities in the world to spend, like to earn money for livelihood, right? So all you need to do is to improve your skills by maintaining and managing time properly in a consistent manner. Like stronger self confidence. So if you have good enough stuff with you, like knowledge, if you have good knowledge, automatically you'll get self confidence, right? So next, living with fewer regrets. You need not to regret in life just because of worrying a lot and about future. Try to don't need to worry about future or past. Now if you focus in the present and utilize your time focusing on the work, then obviously you'll get better results. And having more balance, got it? Balance everything, your personal life or your relations with your friends or your family and study wise, everything. Balance well and manage the time very well. So, this is about the benefits of effective time management. Okay, now uh, I shall move into the topic phonetics. So, in the previous class, I discussed about phonetics, right? So, we will have a short recapitulation for 5 to 10 minutes and then start the topic consonants. Okay, ma'am. So, in the previous topic also, I discussed the same, just some recapitulation is going on now. Phonetics. Next, phonetics, which means science, study of physical sounds of human speeches. Okay, just remember Why phonetics is important? Why it is important? Yes, it helps in corrected pronunciation, useful in learning languages, and helps in speech therapy, important in linguistics, language teaching, and forensics. Right? So, this is what I've taught you in the previous class. I'm just doing recap of the previous class once again. So, soon later, we'll go into the consonants topic. What is linguistics? Okay, it is a scientific study. Main areas of linguistics, phonetics, which means study of speech sounds, phonology, study of sound patterns, morphology, which means study of word structure, syntax, study of sentence structure, semantics, study of meaning in language, social linguistics, study of how language is used in society. So, so I detailedly explained you about forensics, right? So the main concept, I'm just skipping this part. Yes. Yeah. There are 44 phonetic sounds. In that, how many? 24 consonant sounds we have. And 20 vowel sounds we have. So consonant sounds are categorized into two features, as I've told you, right? One is place of articulation. So one is manner of articulation, like how the sound is made. So by we have 7 categories. Yeah, bilabial, which means you use 2 lips. What you use? 2 lips. Next one, labiodental means you use lip and teeth to pronounce that word. Remember. Next, dental tongue. Dental means you use tongue and teeth. Use tongue and teeth here. Okay. Next one, alveolar, which means you use tongue, ridge. So this is called tongue area, and this part is called ridge. You use this. Okay. And next, post alveolar, just behind the teeth inside the yeah teeth. And then velar, which means you use hard palate, soft palate. These are the parts, right? You use tongue and the soft palate here. Okay, your tip of the tongue touches the palate, right? In that manner, you produce sound. Glottal, which means from the vocal cords onwards. Vocal cords means here. Here, this is called vocal cords. Okay, from here the sound gets produced. So now by manner of articulation, there are 6 categories: plosives, fricatives, affricates, nasals, laterals, glides. Right? So now we will move to the actual topic, consonants. So now the topic is consonants. So how many consonants we have? 24. Right? So first one is plosives. Plosives. What is this? In plosives, we have sounds like p. This is p. You use 2 lips here. P, b. T. You use teeth here. You utter the sound t, t, d, d, k, k, g, g. These are called plosives. And next, fricatives. Fricatives. And this is pronounced as f, f. And this one, v, v. And this one, th, th, th. And this, th, th. Okay. This is sha. Okay. Sorry. Sha. So this is s sound. Okay. And this is like it's a B sound, z, kind of. And this one is sound, ja. And this one is ha. Okay, this is fricatives and affricates, cha. This is pronounced as cha. And this is ja, ja. Nasals, like nasals from where the air passes through the nostrils and like mm, mm. N, ng. This is pronounced as ng, ng. Okay. Next one, lateral, which means L, L. And then approximants like R, 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 V, and Z sound. And next one, plosive sounds. When we detailedly go into the first sound, that is plosive sounds. Here you see bilabial, you touch upper lip and lower lip to pronounce this sound. Pha, pha, bha. Okay, next one. Alveolar, which means here your tongue touches behind the teeth. T, t. When you say t, d, your tip of the tongue touches the behind teeth area. T, d. Next one is velar sound. Velar sound. Like back of the tongue touches the soft palate, like k, g, k, and g. Nasals. Air flows through the nose instead of mouth. So air flows through the nose instead of mouth. M, n, ing. How do you pronounce this? Ing. Next. So lateral, which means air flows around the sides of the tongue. L, l. Try to utter the sound l. Yes. Here, when you say l sound, can you sense that air flows around the sides of the tongue? Okay. So next one, approximants. What is this? Approximants. The articulators come close together but not enough to create friction. When you use this word zr, r, r sound, the kind of friction gets created, right? V, zh. Okay, so these are all about the consonant sounds like plosive, which means plosive sounds, bilabial. In the plosive sounds, we have bilabial, alveolar, velar sounds, nasals at another lateral, and approximants. Now we shall see few sounds of the uh, plosives. Here I'm just um, starting the video. Yes. If you see here, few sounds are visible here. Few words are written, right? This is per sound. Per sound, which comes under plosive. You use two lips to pronounce this word. See, pen, pen, park, park, and this is cap. This is cap. What it is? Cap. For example, one more word like help. 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 Per sound. Okay. So this sound is first sound which comes under plosives, nothing but a bilabial sound. You use two lips to pronounce this word. Okay.